Bougainville leaders and Bougainvilleans failed themselves in complying with those provisions of the Constitution. It was never about breaking away from Papua New Guinea, and that must be very important basis for this debate. It was never about breaking away from Papua New Guinea. It was never about political independence. But the nation suffered greatly as the conflict escalated into a civil war. Thousands of innocent lives were lost. The first soldier who lost his life on Bougainville was Second Lieutenant Yan from Wasaragawi in Isipik province. I believe some of the Bougainvillean leaders, including President Toroama, Ismail Toroama, and Ezekiel Massa, and others, would probably not be alive here today. That's a fact. These mercenaries were ruthless and merciless and follow no rules of war. Referendums shall be held only where the conditions relating to weapons disposal, very important, only relating to weapons disposal and levels of good governance of Bougainville are satisfied. Are they satisfied? I say no. The referendum shall be held only where the conditions relating to weapons disposal and levels of good governance of Bougainville are satisfied. Recent public announcements and appearances by the President, Ismail Toroama, including references to himself in terms of associated with Commander-in-Chief authority and appears in military-style attire, raise very serious security concerns. What Bougainville Defense Force is this President of Bougainville talking about? That the ABG has demonstrated no respect whatsoever for the sovereignty of the national constitution and the peace agreement. The ABG has also, the ABG and its leadership have gone ahead with undertakings on Bougainville as if they are already an independent state. This is utterly unacceptable and must not be taken lightly by this parliament. This is an act of sedition. The president must be summoned and held accountable for his actions. No one will tell him, I am telling you. This parliament must send a clear message that the sovereignty of Papua New Guinea cannot be challenged through symbolism, intimidation, or parallel claims of military authority. Our call for national unity, Mr. Speaker. Papua New Guinea is already a nation of immense diversity. Our strength has always been unity within diversity. Only recently, on the 18th of May this year, the President of Autonomous Region of Bougainville is seen officiating in a fully dressed military uniform on the Remembrance Day in Arawa and claiming himself as the chief of the Bougainville Defense Force. Mr. Speaker, since when did Bougainville adopted its own constitution and became independent? This clearly demonstrates that Bougainville leadership has no regard and respect for the Bougainville Peace Agreement. No wonder why the elements of Bougainville Revolutionary Army, the so-called Megamui Defense Force, have not fully complied with Section 338 and Section 342 of the Constitution for total surrender and disposal of the weapons. Section 338 and Section 342 of the Constitution have not been fully complied and implemented, rendering this referendum process result unconstitutional, Mr. Speaker. I repeat it again. Since Section 338 and Section 342 of the Constitution have not been fully complied with and implemented, this renders this entire referendum process and result unconstitutional. This is not the time for emotional decision-making. This is not the time for political games, Mr. Speaker. This is the time for the call of leadership in this parliament. Mr. Speaker, Bougainville is part of Papua New Guinea. Bougainvilleans are our brothers and sisters. Their grievances must continue to be addressed through autonomy, through development, reconciliation, and partnership. But independence is not the answer. The answer is deeper national unity. The answer is constitutional stability. The answer is meaningful autonomy within one sovereign Papua New Guinea. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, after careful reflection on the Constitution, the territorial integrity of Papua New Guinea, the incomplete conditions surrounding the referendum, the unresolved weapons disposal concerns, the governance challenges, recent developments that threaten the spirit of peace agreement and the Constitution of Papua New Guinea, I state categorically today, for and on behalf of myself and the peace-loving citizens of Guinea Electorate and Greater Papua New Guinea Party, that this